What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including 3 huge injuries, Stone Cold Steve Austin texts CM Punk, big WWE releases coming, Dustin Rhodes celebrates sobriety, and much more. And now to the intro and get straight into our first story. Now first we looked at 3 top-tier wrestlers sidelined by injuries. Atop of today's news are reports concerning injuries to 3 top female superstars. The first being Mercedes Money, injured at a New Japan show. As bad news for Mercedes Money, aka Sasha Banks, who suffered an apparent broken ankle during a match at New Japan's Pro Wrestling Retribution event. Money was wrestling Willow Nightingale in the tournament finals to determine the inaugural New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Women's Champion when Mercedes was injured. According to PW Insider, the word making the rounds backstage at the New Japan Pro Wrestling Resurgence event in California is that Mercedes Money suffered a broken ankle during the main event against Willow Nightingale. We will update as we confirm more details. Mercedes then sent this update to her fans via Twitter. Wrestling. Phew, not how I dreamed for tonight to go. I'm sorry and I love you guys so much. I'm gonna heal and be back better than ever. It remains to be seen how long Mercedes will be out for. We send our best wishes to Mercedes Money for a fast and full recovery. The next person is Liv Morgan, and she needs surgery. And details are emerging on the nature of Liv Morgan's injury. Morgan and tag partner Raquel Rodriguez recently relinquished their WWE Women's Tag Team Championship due to Morgan's injury. It was originally believed that Morgan had suffered a minor injury during a 12 May tag team match and would be able to work through it. However, Brian Alvarez commented on the Wrestling Observer Radio that Liv Morgan has what is believed to be a shoulder injury that may need surgery, and so they announced on SmackDown that her and Raquel are being stripped of the tag team titles and they're going to do a 4-way on Raw in 2 weeks to determine a new champion. The former SmackDown Women's Champion will have to sit on the sidelines as Raquel picks a mystery partner to compete on the 29th May Raw, where she'll compete alongside 3 other teams to determine new champions. Sportskeeda suggested Liv's absence could open the door for Charlotte Flair's return. While a tag team championship run might seem like a step down, the Queen has competed for and held the Women's Tag Team Championship before, holding the title briefly alongside Asuka. This could help elevate the tag titles as well as keep Flair out of the singles picture. Raquel recently teamed with Shotzi, but fans shouldn't rule out a return by Rodriguez's former tag partner Aaliyah. In the meantime, we wish Liv Morgan all the best as she recovers from this injury. The third is Dakota Kai, who's dealing with an unknown injury. Liv Morgan wasn't the only WWE superstar injured on 12 May. Coincidentally, Damage Control's Dakota Kai was injured when she battled Liv and Raquel in a tag team match. According to Fightful Select, it's unknown exactly what happened or how long Kai will be out. Whatever the case, again, we send our well wishes for Dakota Kai to be back soon and fully healed. Next up, AEW sends a legal letter to CM Punk. It looks like the situation between CM Punk and AEW is heating up following Punk's rumored no-show at AEW's announcement for its new TV show, Collision. Wrestling Inc.'s Raj Giri recently reported on Twitter that AEW sent a legal notice to Punk yesterday that he has to either comply or they're gonna file a suit against him. As we noted last week, word has it AEW is looking for a different venue to debut Collision if Punk refuses to return. Next up, WWE Releases Coming. And while WWE President Nick Khan recently remarked that WWE is cutting staff, he noted there were no plans to trim the WWE's talent roster. But nevertheless, WrestleVotes is reporting, I don't know names at all, but I know a source that has said to expect a minor batch of releases prior to July 1st. I think that's just business. Hopefully I'm wrong on that one, but I would expect prior to the second half of this year a few cuts just because of the circumstances that the company finds themselves in right now. As we discussed, Triple H has greatly expanded the WWE roster. In addition to bringing back previously released talent, he's also drafted several NXT superstars to round out the roster. This has made for fresher matchups, but it's also led to wrestlers competing for airtime. Next up, superstars concerned with WWE Gambling. It looks like the WWE is still trying to get the approval for states to include WWE matches in their sports booking, a move which has some superstars concerned with how it could affect their careers. Fightful Select is reporting it was told by WWE talent that they haven't really been briefed about the possibility of WWE getting into the gambling scope, and many were surprised by some of the details that have been outlined. Specifically, there were concerns around the results of matches not being disclosed until a few hours ahead, not because that's out of the ordinary, but because it could affect a long-term input into their stories. In addition, the Patreon site discussed the situation with a long-time wrestler. Usually we don't know the results of matches until about then anyway. There have been world title matches where people didn't know until shortly before the match, so that won't necessarily be that different. The concern comes into where and what we can pitch, how that affects things, and the ability to get things changed that talent doesn't agree with. There'll be a lot of figuring out where and why changes are pushed for and from, and I think that is probably more trouble than it's worth. Wrestling Inc. noted that WWE's efforts to get various states on board hasn't panned out. Nonetheless, it believed a gambling deal could be lucrative, which is why the WWE hasn't given up on expanding it beyond sites such as FanDuel. Next up, Stone Cold Steve Austin texted CM Punk. A Texas Rattlesnake recently spoke with Forbes' Alfred Konua about Punk. Man, I just sent Punk a message last night. I don't know he'd torn his triceps. I haven't been following anything. I don't know what's going on with that. Me and Phil traded message every here and there. We rarely talk, probably once or twice a year. I love the guy. I don't even know if I mentored him because Punk's probably a lot smarter than I am. But he had nothing but praise for Punk, saying, "Great promo guy, great worker, he's got his own thing going and we're just friends. Maybe he looked up to me back in the day, but I don't know if I so much mentored him because I think he paid his own dues. He learned it the way he did and he got over on his own merits. The fact that maybe I could have been somewhat of an influence would be flattering if that were the case, but he's made his own career." Stone Cold discussed the current commotion between Punk and AEW as fans wonder whether Punk is returning to AEW after a rumored spat over AEW reportedly refusing to let Punk's friend Ace Steel join him at live events. But I don't even know what's going on with the current situation or what they're doing because right now I rarely watch any other product. I watch all the pay-per-views and major pay-per-views, but he certainly carved out a hellacious career on his own right by his own right. Next up, AEW elevating the title for Collision. And while it remains to be seen whether AEW is going to split up its rosters to spread stars out over Dynamite and Collision, a PW Insider reports that AEW had been elevating the International Championship in order to make it a featured title on Collision. AEW has booked current champion Orange Cassidy nearly every week on Dynamite in order to get him and the belt over, and it appears to be paying off as the former All-Atlantic Championship has become a solid secondary title. While the case can be made AEW has too many titles, wrestling history suggests it's not a matter of how many titles a promotion has, but how well it books each one of them. If each title is booked well, it means more opportunities to create exciting programs and matches. Likewise, a title that is rarely defended or booked properly can mean nothing, regardless of whether it's a TV title or an undisputed world championship. And finally, Dustin Rhodes celebrates sobriety. Last but not least, congrats to Dustin Rhodes, who recently celebrated 15 years sober. Rhodes, who has enjoyed a career renaissance in AEW since the company launch, tweeted, "Today is the day that I am most proud of. Today is 15 years clean and sober from drugs and alcohol. It was a difficult journey for me, but when we worked our programs diligently, magic starts to happen. I thank God for this second chance and new lease on life. I chose not to turn around and take a walk with the devil. I'm clean from him, one day at a time." And congrats to Dustin on this massive accomplishment. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.